This is it. This is the one you've all been waiting for. This time some NA versus EU action. This is going to be a good one, isn't it, SeaRaptor? There's going to be no personal biases at all.
No, that's unheard of.
We are both going to be completely impartial, as is our job as official members of the cast.
Absolutely.
All I'm saying is I want EU to win. Anyway, EU, the better team for this team will be green, and they'll be on the northern spawn here on Shatter. They're going to be running double St. Vincent, double Nevsky, Petropavlovsk, Gearing, Daring, and a Marceau. Lots of doubling here.
All right, opposing them from the south spawn, ELSR, the NA second place team, fielding a pair of St. Vincents of their own, rounding things out with Des Moines, Howdenliu, Nevsky, Petropavlovsk, and only a 3-destroyer lineup for them, Gearing, Harugamo, and Quincy's Ragnar.
Yeah, it looks like there's like two strong ways of playing this map that we've seen. One of them is you send stuff really far out wide. The other one is you pile a bunch of Howden lives or Gooden lose or whatever's going to make Seraphice the most offended. You pile a bunch of those as close to the B cap as possible and just throw planes at each other. However, we did see that Shaft, last time we saw Shaft on this map, were running a Schlieffen, and they had that positioned around the B cap. Now without that threat of the Schlieffen and its secondaries, torpedoes, hydro, and all that kind of stuff, it kind of makes the Gooden slightly more vulnerable. Because you no longer have that, hi, if you want to come at my guys, we have a big Schlieffen in your way. We no longer have that, so it's like, all right, we'll go with the other strat. We'll just send everything as wide as possible and just try and take direct control of the ANC and hold them in B if they want to try and set themselves there.
I will say that early on, as I'm looking at early deployments here, Shaft's, the amount of firepower they're sending over to C, I think they've got a really good lineup headed this way, right? I'm looking at a St. Vincent, a Petro, Gearing, Nevsky, and Marceau. The Marceau is going to beat, well, it's going to beat everything that ELSR has to that cap, so they ought to be able to bag C, and I think they're bringing enough stuff they're going to be able to hold on to it for a while.
Yeah, well, the Marceau should be taking an early dive into the C cap. Yeah, you might be able to get it ahead of the Gearing Nevsky getting there in the radar range. The Petropavlovsk running up into that radar spot between B and C should be able to hold over radar control over both B and C, but it's only a very short radar, so you'll get a nice little sharp shock. You know, you'll get the Petro salvo off, just, remove it from the cap, and then, you can come back in. But you'll give him a bit of a slap for it.
I just want to say that somebody who talks as fast as you should really avoid the tongue twisters. That's not going to end well for everybody.
Yeah,
just keep that in mind.
All I can say is that, I may have... I can speak... I shall speak slowly. Over at the A cap...
We've got an early radar from Kukuri's Nevsky. It's going to probably catch a brief glimpse of Int'l right about now there. He's the lit. They've got about 15 seconds to try and either force him off the cap or get a reset. He's going to bail.
Yeah, he's not interested in this. He doesn't want to sit
He's
and
just
take
like,
damage
nah,
for no
you know
reason.
what? It would have been nice to pick that up. And honestly, he left the cap voluntarily. I think I would have made them make the shot. Ooh, they do get some good shells into him. Good shot from Kukuri.
Yeah, he's going to be able to recontest that as soon as that Nevsky radar goes down in about 15 seconds. Because if he manages to get turned all the way back in, the only thing he has to run the guns of is the Howdenliv, because the Nevsky is going to be directly behind the island. He can then push his way to the bottom of that island, use that to shot block it, block the Nevsky in the radar, and the Gearing can't really do much. You will have the Petropavlovsk with Stress Possum in position to support him, so he can be able to take the cap from just behind the island if he wants to. It's a very risky position. He doesn't necessarily know where everything is, but it's an option.
First airstrike of the game going in on Stress Possum's Petro there, and Genshin did get a few bombs onto Stress Stern, forcing a DCP and getting a little bit of chip damage. So one of the things that I'm always curious when I see experienced veteran players at this level of play taking... Oh! Holy bejesus! From downtown, I saw those shells coming in. I didn't think they had a chance.
Oh.
Look at that. Vert just absolutely annihilates the Howdenliu in one salvo.
That's
gone.
That was a very fun experience.
Deleted. Wow.
Can we do that again? I like that.
We should have a replay of that one somewhere. That'll be a replay that absolutely gets shown up. There it was.
Just loop that for 5 minutes and we're
cow.
good. Thank you very much to our observer team over there in Belgrade. That's
Look
a
at that.
fantastic replay. Yeah. Doesn't it make you feel good?
That hurts. As a cruiser player, that hurts to watch.
As an EU player, that was great to watch.
I felt that in my soul.
So,
Goodness gracious.
While that was all happening, we did see Entaro did rearrange himself, get back into the C cap. We see that the Gearing Nevsky smokescreen combination has forced itself away down the 9-10 line. And we see the same thing is happening over on the 1-2 line as well. This choking strategy. We have Gearing Nevsky pushes on both sides of the map, and this double St. Vincent push through the two gaps.
Yeah.
I love this.
This double St. Vincent, these St. Vincents sitting in mid, and now you've even got You even got who is this? Gassando moving up like
Is he about to do the Petro?
He's on the south side now of this island looking for shots downrange at Kukuri or even Stevens Vincent if he wanders in front.
I'm more looking at Gretchen. Gretchen looks like the best target right now.
Well, at the moment, he took a shot at Kukuri, throwing St. Vincent AP downrange at the Nevsky there. Gets a couple of full pins out of it. Not terrible. So far in this game, everything coming up shaft. They own A and C as Gretchen's Petro does move up and grab B, so it's not all bad news for ELSR.
For now, he's now caught between a rock and a hard place, and by which I mean a St. Vincent and another St. Vincent. And I don't want to be surrounded by many Vincents. There's Vincents everywhere, but it's more accurately you don't want to be surrounded by two enemy St. Vincents. Actually, Vert looks like he's not interested in like fighting the Petro. He's actually going to be kiting out in the open.
Yep. Vert turned and went the other way. Now headed over towards the A cap. He was here for that Dev strike we saw in the Howden Liu, but then he bailed out of the middle part of the board. Did not want to tangle with the Petro and Hu Tao's Des Moines.
Yeah, Vert and his St. Vincent are going to be just waddling away slowly, being farmed out a little bit by the Haraguma and Des Moines. Like, he's all right for now. It's a Vincent. It's got a super heal. It's got damage control. Actually, he's going for the cross shots onto that. What happened to the St. Vincent and Ragnar here on the 1-2 line?
Good question.
They just got Nevsky, I guess.
The other question is how Quincy's Ragnar over here is also crazy low. I guess that's the Nevsky of Formazing here doing good work with his guns when they were able to get Quincy caught out is all I can think of.
So the St. Vincent here is kind of a little bit caught out. He's now caught Bao in pushing into the Gearing Nevsky combination all alone because his support of the Ragnar has had to peel off and run away. The Haragumo is nowhere near helping. And so he's going to have to do this full broadside turn. Depends if Amazing wants to take... Oh, actually, Zill caught in the A-cap and is daring. Shell's coming in. I think he might go down here.
Yeah, I think they're going to lose Zill here. He got caught out, and now he was under the radar there for just a moment.
Drops the smoke screen.
He's going to try and
ended
smoke
already.
and sneak away. His DCP is 10 seconds away, and his next heal is over him. He's going to burn out.
Clipped, yeah.
He's done.
Well, so that Petropavlovsk marched through the middle now that Vert has given up that position. And it looks like Kalu didn't want to like fully commit to it. So this Petro has been allowed to walk through the middle of the map. So despite the fact that Shaft had managed to get pushes down the 9-10 lanes, the counter push from ELSR to go through the B cap after all of this is very well executed and managed to pick up that kill.
And Gretchen's Petro is not slowing down here. Like this push is continuing at full speed. The Des Moines, Hu Tao on the south side of the island, taking things a little more cautiously. But I think his bow is a little more vulnerable to Vert's guns than that of the Petro off to his starboard side.
But it looks like we have more rotations coming into the B cap. This time it's going to be, it looks like the Marsova and Taro along with the St. Vincent, well, they'll be following up in the B cap. They're not interested in chasing this Nevsky gearing and St. Vincent to the map border. They have their own Nevsky gearing. They're like, put their own counter stage. It's like, all right, we're going to smoke up back here. If you want to come back into sea, we'll be able to farm you out. We have the Petropavlovsk to help with this as well. We're going to rotate our St. Vincent and Marceau off and maybe make something happen with some sort of crossfire between, the Vincent on Vincent Petropavlovsk action that we wanted to see, but just didn't.
Luger's Harugumo stepping onto A as the Marceau, that's Int'l, stepping onto B, so maybe a bit of a cap flip here. They're focusing Hu Tao's Des Moines at the moment, who's healing and trying to get some cover.
Vert might be in danger here.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of hoovering away as much of Vert's HP as they have, and now the Harugumo shells are even coming in. He's about to get one of his heals back, though. He's going to push that button in just a sec as it comes up.
Yeah, that wall of torpedoes looks like it might just not care about his heal. That's about to go off.
That's a fair point. I mean, he's going to take probably at least one of these. He's on a double fire, trying to heal as the torpedoes come in.
Yeah, one of the torpedoes clips the island.
At least one for sure. The other one's going to sneak right under the stern. But he's stuck with a flood and 2 fires now.
And the heal's ending in 1 second. Yeah, he's just going down. He gets another salvo off before he goes.
Too many damage over time effects on Vert. They're going to get him here. He's going to throw a torpedo there just for the hell of it. And just like that, ELSR back in the game, only down 70 points, ticking up only ticking up 1 cap because Shaft came in and grabbed B.
Ah, yes. So back over here, we now see Amazing is kind of left on his own a little bit with the St. Vincent charging up his stern. There's a Haragumo going to be there as well. The St. Vincent and Marceau haven't been able to push hard enough through the B cap, so this Nevsky might get caught out on the retreat.
Now, we haven't mentioned it in a bit. The Gearing Nevsky push over on the 9-10 line, that duo has been doing good work. That's Kami and Repri over here. But the Gearing Smoke, he's a long way from me. He's got 1 more to go, so they're going to be able to get 1 more charge out of this. But all the ground these guys have surrendered. They're still in the game. That's Kukuri, Little Busters, and Stevens St. Vincent. In fact, Stevens now running back north trying to be impactful here at the B cap, although his shells going towards the Nevsky, who they can spot at the moment.
Kakuri might be suffering a little bit here, stuck on the border, but now that with the Nevsky being spotted in the smoke because the gearing's so close to, Kamikazes doesn't actually have his radar available, so Little Buster's that deep in the radar. Oh, the gearing and gearing spot each other. Salvo comes out and Little Buster's.
Steven is slowing down in front of these gearing torpedoes.
They're all hydroed. He should be able to dodge in between them.
No, he's gonna take 2, and they're gonna lose him. Oh, they're not gonna lose him, but he does take the 2. His DCP was already available.
I was looking at the other torpedoes.
I'm looking at Steven St. Vincent here down south on the 6 line.
Yeah, I was looking at Kamikazes in the smoke screen.
Okay.
It's all happening right next to each other. Long range shells coming in from the Marceau to try and finish off Steven and the St. Vincent there. He needs to get that down before St. Vincent gets another salvo off, because that will instantly take out Kamikazes here. Kamikazes is in a lot of danger.
Does go down.
He gets the salvo off though, and he's turning full broadside to it.
Coming in, not enough. He gets a full pin though. So it helps the case, helps thing along a bit.
But Little Busters is now caught in the hydro. 2,000 health on that Nevsky. How much could he get before he goes down? He gets about 2,000 in return. Now that's going to leave a very, very lonely Repri who has to start falling back. The Petropavlovsk Stress Possum couldn't really get involved in that trade. It depends. Do you want to send the Petropavlovsk down chasing after this gearing Nevsky combination, or do you want to try and send it to block this approach into B cap? We do have Amazing and his Nevsky and the gearing with him, just kiting all the way at the AB line.
Gory's St. Vincent all the way back on the 1 line, turning around. He's realizing he's got to move up and support his team that's holding the A cap. For the moment, that's really the only thing kind of keeping ELSR in this game, because they're going to have to either bag some kills or break into B to try and steal the lead away, and that is not going to be a small. That's going to be a tall order for them right now.
Yeah, so the problem of, like, how do you get rid of the St. Vincent? What are your options here? You can either rush it with a Haragumo, which only has, like, 1 set of torpedoes that can effectively use because of, like, how the torpedo reload booster consumable works, and you would have to give full broadside to a Marceau and a St. Vincent while you do it. Kind of an issue. Ragnar has no torpedoes. Petro option, potential
rushing a St. Vincent, of course, probably doesn't end with you surviving the experience. So they're going to have to do what they've been doing, which is farming him out. So they're setting this up now. Hu Tao, Luger's Harugamo moving over to where they're going to get shots. That's going to force Cassando. He's going to have to move back up to the island cover. They may decide to put Gretchen's Petro in the face, but I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't drive a Petro on a St. Vincent. He'll just torp you.
Yeah, this is the problem. And plus, it's not exactly like... so there's a lot of ships you can aim to incap the torpedoes on that you try and incapacitate. You've got, like, Haragumo there. You'll be like, all right, he's got 1 launcher. I can try and incap that. If he drops Damicons, I might be screwed. But, you know... But with St. Vincent, it's not exactly a ship you can aim at the torpedo ships to try and incapacitate them on, because they're underwater mounted. They are fixed bow torpedoes. They're a very strange layout compared to what we're classically used to in World of Warships.
Well, the eastern flank is going to get interesting again in a bit, because the Nevsky is continuing to push back up the 8 line. So we'll see how that plays out. They've got a few minutes before that's relevant again. I still feel like right now, there's 2 minutes on the game timer. ELSR needs to try and get this Vincent off the board if they want to have a chance of getting back into this game.
So it looks like...
They can't lose Quincy right here, and they're about to.
Quincy getting caught out there. Ragnar, 3,000 health. Shells coming in. There's Marceau salvo coming out.
He's out of heals. He needs to go dark and not get spotted again.
1,700 HP. He's got a St. Vincent in his face who's just like itching, spamming that mouse
waiting on
button.
The trigger.
It's like, just click. There you go. Salvo
There's
comes
the
out.
shells coming in, and there's Quincy. So now only 60 seconds away from a win. Is Shaft. Oh, there's somebody gets into B. That's Hu Tao. Oh, Hu Tao taking a very aggressive line.
Yeah.
Pushing right up through here.
He's got a Petropavlovsk in his face and a Marceau at the side. I think he might just go for the ram here. Like,
it's not a great trade, because if you ram right now, you leave them in control of the cap and they continue to tick the points.
Yeah,
as
so you
long
just
as
sit
he
here
lives,
and make him kill
he's
you.
holding those points back.
Stress Possum has to be very careful, because he's now going to be the target of the farming from the same...
Gassando's getting very low, down to 8K. His next heal's 15 seconds away. I think they might bag it, but the Marceau AP on Hu Tao's also doing a huge number on him.
Everybody is currently suffering.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. They're going to get Gassando, but they're going to lose Hu Tao. That's going to let them start ticking up this cap again. And once again, we're under a minute from a Shaft win here in a game that ELSR is scrambling to get back into. But check the C cap. Busters is about to step onto C. Is it going to make it? They're so far behind. All you're going to do is slow. You're going to slow things down. That's all that's going to happen. Is you're going to slow things down.
You might be able. I don't even know you get any kills with the Nevsky. He's currently like approaching here. He's spotted. He can't get anything on the gearing.
They bought themselves 30 more seconds now. 60 seconds on the game timer. 5 minutes to play on the clock, but Gretchen now making a hard push for B with his
He doesn't have Hydro.
No,
He
I was
doesn't
going to say
have
it was
radar.
Hydro running, but it's not. His Hydro's offline.
Yeah, and now you have a Marceau just sitting here waiting for him to try and make this jump around the corner.
Yeah, he's well spotted. They know, and the Marceau. I mean, they know the Marceau is in that gap.
Where is Guns going to look? Is he turning for the Marceau? Or is he turning for the Petro?
Marceau is going to inch out in front of him. His guns are looking to port. He's expecting the Marceau to be there, or at least be close enough.
The Marceau's just bait. Like, he's just bait. He's going to leave. He's not going to get his
20 seconds. They have to
here.
step onto this cap or get a kill. There are the torpedoes. It's too late. The torpedoes are going to land no matter what he does. You might as well go for it.
What does he go for, though?
Nah, it's too. This is
what is there to
over.
go for?
They had to make this play. Baited into the torpedo salvo. 6 seconds on the timer. 3 seconds on the timer. Petro bags the kill, and that's the game. Shaft with a win.
Oh, that was chaotic.
It was. It was a lot more back and forth than I was expecting. That early Howden Liu death strike absolutely making a huge impact in that game, because the ELSR really they worked their butts off. And if I'm honest, it feels a little bit like Shaft kind of let them back in with a couple of aggressive plays that maybe they didn't have to make and they got caught out on.
They rotated off the B cap and allowed a gap to form, and then ELSR just sucked themselves through the middle of the B cap. It's like, oh, look, there's a route I can follow. I'm going to follow this Vincent. I'm going to be in all sorts of awkward angles you didn't expect me to appear in, and then deal with me. And then Shaft just didn't have an answer for that Petra Palace for the longest time. They ended up finally being able to rotate some of the forces off the A cap and back over to B, and then managed to stabilize it, and you ended up with that whole little brawl in the middle at the end there. But other than that, it was
a fun game to watch, a solid win for Shaft. Really nice attempted comeback by ELSR. Let's go back to the analyst desk, let them play with it for a bit.